loser of their last 4 in a row, 3 since the trade. Okay, they lost the 22 to the Kings, by 8 points to the Nuggets, and by 4 points to the Grizzlies. They were averaging 68.6 points per game before the trade, 96 points a game after. Are they better now or before? TJ.
Neither.
Wow.
I had no respect for the Bulls before the trade or after.
Wow.
But you're talking almost a 30-point
All they did
differential.
was brought in a super gun in that Beetle kid, and that's it.
But
if you shoot 50 times a game, you're going to average that many more points a game just on one person shooting that much. So that's they're not better. They're scoring points. Have they won games?
But
you don't improve in this league by scoring points. If I score 110 and the Kings score 111, we still suck. We lost.
Okay, but with the acquisition of Dave McGarry and Matt Kimball now has they settled his contract dispute with the trade. He passed his physical. He reported to camp. He showed up. If he gets into the offense more and establishes a low block, some low post defense for them, are they a contender in this league now with the offense that they have?
No.
I wouldn't. The total sum of the parts just don't mix good. You got a lot of guys who want to shoot, and it might not be enough ball to be spread around. What is his name, McGarry?
Dave, yeah.
He's a decent player, but they got him playing a 6-man role, which I don't know why you would do, because I think, quite frankly, he's probably a best player now outside of maybe Andre Edmonds. So you got Edmonds, McGarry, the Beetle kid, Thomas. You got a lot of guys who want the ball to do a lot of different things, as in shooting, whichever way they do, long range or to the hoop, but they want to score. The ball going to get spread around. If the ball gets spread around, I say the Bulls would be pretty decent, because they do got a decent team. They keep making trades every week, and you can't get no blame.
At 96 points a game, they're second in the league in scoring.
Yeah, well, how many points are they getting scored?
Look at their defense.
Well, but unfortunately, they're giving up. They score 96 points a game, but they give up 98 points a game.
Okay, I haven't spoken on this topic. I'm going to speak now. I believe that the trade, at first thought, I thought it was a bad trade that they did with the Kings, but now that I'm seeing it fits systematically for their trade. But even more so than that, I agree with TJ on this one. The addition of James Beetle is really what got their average up, their scoring average. They're a much better team. He's easily the best perimeter player in this league as of what I've seen thus far. The addition of Matt Kimball, really, they spread the ball. He's a good swing man. A lot of guys, we all agree here, from Kimball's past leagues. He's just, you have to put a man on him, whether he's struggling for what reason or whatever. You still have to, he requires attention. So the trade really worked out for them because they got the other guys playing in a comfort zone now where they actually feel more comfortable shooting the ball. They don't have a team that's disputing over this little thing and that little thing. And obviously now, like even Chris Thomas's game has stepped up from a confidence level because he's familiar with a player like James Beetle. So it just, having confidence.
It's a better offense for Chris
Yeah,
Thomas
absolutely.
right now,
Yeah, exactly. It's a run. You're going to get a lot of shots in that offense that they have right now. They're knocking some shots down, and I think the trade. I'll take back what I said last week about it was really a bozo move. I think it really worked out best for them.
I got to interrupt that because you can't take back what you said.
Well, I have
because there's no way that Mark Capsule planned this.
No, absolutely
Mark Capsule
not.
Traded this, turned around, tripped, and fell right into this.
Exactly.
It was an accident on his part. There was no way it was thought out and planned on his part.
But nonetheless,
it was boneheaded
for
trade,
yes,
but it worked out to benefit him somewhat. Okay.
But when we all agreed that it was, he was doing it best for himself or self-gratification because of the way he wanted to fit in on offense. Hey, what happened was he got lucky, like you had just said. He got lucky as far as, it really made the team better. It was a good trade. It was a better trade. I'm not going to say good, but it was a better trade than I had initially thought for him. Losing games, fine, they're losing games, but they're playing much better. So that's pretty much what's happened. That's the way I feel on it. And they can't do nothing but get better with the emergence of Matt Kimball. Does he decide, he's going to play like
Matt
he's
Kimball can
capable
bring a
of?
lot to the team.
Yeah, he's going to, provided he gets the touches, because that team, there's a lot of running gunners on
That's
that
my
team.
point, yeah.
So I
And
mean,
some
if they
people-
can get him into the offense,
If some
I
people
mean,
that's
look
their
out.
roles, yeah. That's
I
what
mean,
some people
they're a
that's their
team
roles.
that's very capable of. You're playing a team that's struggling. Everybody gets that game where you're struggling, you can't knock your shots down. They're a team that can beat you if they're knocking their shots down.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. They all can shoot shots. They
Because
can shoot.
the Beetle and the McGeary kids, they're some players. They are. They're just like you said. If they can, everybody get a roll and spread the ball around and let the shooters get into a flow.
Yeah, they can upset somebody. I mean, everybody makes the playoffs. I mean, it's everybody's 0-0 when you start off that playoffs. Depends on personnel, if your personnel shows up or not.
Yep.
I mean, and now this is what's bad for the Pistons going on such a win streak. When does it end? It has to end sometimes, and nobody wants to, like for instance, to iterate on your Pittsburgh Steelers. They're playing these games. They're getting some personnel back, some key men. They were losing. Now, and that's what we're going to hear.
Yeah.
Now we
Now.
don't want them
Now.
coming off a win streak.
Right.
Now them Cleveland Browns, they've been playing too good ball. It's got to stop. The ball they're playing is too good. They're going to stop. It's going to cease. So that's kind of the same way I view the Bulls. The Pistons. You win too many games, it's the law of averages. You must lose.
So if you were GM for a day for the Bulls, what would you do to improve them with the roster that they have right now?
I thought you was going to say, what would I do? I'd probably slit my wrist if on a personal level if I was the GM.
But seeing this offense, and there's talent there. They have the team. They have the guys that can win. But like he just said, they're just not. They're not getting the right mix going.
Yeah.
Okay, you're their GM for the day. What's your mix? What What do you do to help them
I got it.
keep
Honestly-
that down from
honestly,
98 points to
they-
scoring 95 points?
They just need to have, basically a backbone installed into that team. They need to understand where the leadership is and where it goes. And the problem with that is, like I said, the reason I don't disrespect the Bulls as players. Beetle can't shoot. Matt Kimball, I cannot even attempt to watch one-on-one. Andre Edmonds, he was worthy of being the top pick in the draft this year. They got a lot of great players. The problem is Capsule will not coach that team. He does not understand what he has in that team. It's like giving a young kid a toy that he doesn't know what it is yet and let him try to build it by himself without following the directions involved. If you take that team and you get a game plan, which you put into effect, and you start from the start of the game and follow through no matter what happens, like we did last week against the Kings,
It's tragic.
then they would be a lot better team. But with Capsule running that team, it just can't happen. You could take any one of the other players in this league. You could put Josh Jaricio on that team as a manager, and he'll do a better job than Mark Capsule.
Wow.
Is it because his inexperience?
No.
He's
It's not
we
inexperience.
say he stumbled upon it, but did he
It's
really?
because of his pride and his ego.
Did
I think
he
it might be
really?
his education.
I'm not going to speak on his education.
Well, when I say education, I mean his education basketball.
Right,
It doesn't
well-
seem like he's been around the game that long. He's a
Those-
little wet behind the ears.
Those
That's-
moves he made, not to cut Tim off, but to talk on what Dave was speaking about, those moves, like you say, might have stumbled into it maybe. The guys he picked up, the last two, he's known somewhat, right? He had to. I know he knew the
Right.
Beetle kid
Ah,
and the
Chris
McGeary.
Thomas
Oh,
brought the
I'm
Beetle.
sorry.
Also, no, but he knows Chris Thomas through obviously playing in different gyms or whatever with him. So if he brings a guy like, this is a guy we can add to our team, I don't think Cap's just going to bring anybody to his team because he done got rid of so many people that he already knows. So it's somewhat of an educated, I think.
Here's what I got,
pick.
because I know we're running short on time on this topic, but I forgot to mention that when TJ had brought it up, when I says about the reason for them 30, when I was talking about the Beetle kid, so that goes back to about, it really didn't have as much to do with the trade as it did with the free agent acquisition.
Yeah.
Which came from a veteran player in Chris Thomas. I mean,
Yeah,
he knew what
for
he was
sure.
doing.
That's not 100% true.
That's
James
what my sources
Beadle
tell
has
me.
played. That's totally false. Your sources are false.
It's true both ways.
James Beadle
Has
played
played
with
with him
him
before.
during the summer.
Yeah.
Played with who?
With Mark
With
Capsule.
Capsule.
That is Capsule's free agent
but
acquisition.
I believe it was Chris Thomas from what my sources say. Chris Thomas that strong armed him and to take it down. Okay, but
But
he's
it-
familiar. Him being familiar with the player.
It still
helps.
boils down
But one
to
more
the
thing,
picking,
since we're
though.
trying to wrap this up. I'm GM for a day. I find a true post player to go to that team. They lack a big man.
Yeah.
They need a post player, and